Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here today. Today I am hopping on for part 2 of dyeing Angora yarn. I've done this before in other videos, and yesterday I worked on doing some dyeing of some white fibers, went through the whole process, and today's video will be the second part of that with carding and spinning some yarn. So I want to show you how it turned out and talk about that a little bit, and we're going to do some carding with some other colors to see what we kind of can get. This is just a lot of playing. I don't get an opportunity to do this often, or I don't let myself do this often because there's so much work to do around here, but I wanted to sit down and do this today. Keep in mind, a lot of my fibers are small batch fibers. So this isn't necessarily what you would do if you were doing big production fibers. And a lot of the stuff I do in small fiber batches simply to record videos to show you guys ideas, tricks, tips, and different things that you can think about working on. So a lot of this is just creative stuff. A lot of the skeins I make are, just one skein of something. A lot of the art yarns, and I also buy fibers from other farmers and buy roving and things like that. And so a lot of what I sell, even off my website, might not come from my farm, but it comes from another farmer, and it was just one skein or not a skein, one roving of their fiber. And so and I realized today I have been so busy this summer trying to catch up. I have not gotten to spin. Does anybody else experience that with having so many other things like the care of the animals and all of that? Cleaning barns, that's what I've been doing the last few days, is cleaning all the barns out for fall, or for winter actually. And I realized that it's been forever since I've sat down and spin. And I hate that because I love to spin. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this channel, is I absolutely have a passion for spinning. So one of my goals coming up here, once things settle down and the garden's done and everything is clean, I am going to make time every day, even if I have to set a timer just to sit and spin. So I need to work on that a little bit better, because I have not been doing that as much or as well. I might start out a video for you guys showing you different things, but I'm only spinning for a short period of time. And then I end up with funny bobbins that have short, small amounts of fiber on them that I'm not quite sure what they are anymore. So I need to do better at that. So let me show you. I went into this wanting to do a goldenrod color and a purple color. Now I am so far away from being even good at dyeing yarn or fiber. I just don't do it enough. I love the idea of doing it, and I would love to have more time to learn more about it. So all of these little videos with dyeing is more just a creative outlet, and to show you how the Angora does pick up dye beautifully and all of that. But I am not good at it yet. That's something else maybe I need to make time for. So my purple turned out beautifully, and it is coming through really very clear on the video. You can see that it's not a solid color. And I did talk about that a little bit in the video, which is going to go up before this one. So you've already seen it if you watched that, where Angora is very water resistant to some degree. And so you want to make sure that it is completely saturated before you put it into the dye pot. Well, I thought I had done a pretty good job of that. Obviously I hadn't, because that's what you're seeing. The stronger colors are where the dye strikes first. So when you put it, and there's lots of things you can do to avoid this, but keep in mind with this being, so this was probably, there's a light color here, that was probably not saturated fully. And so when I put this in the water, it grabbed where it did, and then some of the other parts Hold on a minute. There is always a cat interrupting my video these days. So the other parts that did not grab the color as well is where it was not fully saturated. So that's something I need to work on, especially with the Angora, but I'm not mad at what happened here. It's got some really gorgeous colors. And then my goldenrod, which in the video, I am not a color. I think, first of all, I did not follow a recipe. I probably should have done it a little bit better. But there is some science behind it, and I kind of just went with my creative whim yesterday when I was doing this, and so I did not end up with goldenrod. But it's a beautiful Halloween orange, and there are some color variances in it you can see, but the colors are really striking, and they are coming through on video pretty good. So I didn't get my goldenrod, and probably because I did not have the right colors to mix to make goldenrod anyways. The salmon came through much stronger. Salmon was one of the dyes that I used. It came through much stronger than what I realized it was gonna, even with just a small, did I do a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon compared to the yellows that I used, a full teaspoon too. So it's still gorgeous, and actually these two together are really beautiful. So we're gonna do a little playing today. I am going to hand card this. I need to grab my cards. For a couple different reasons. One, we're just going to do a small amount, and I'm pretty sure I can do it on the, I do have a drum carder. I'm not always a fan of running Angora through my drum carder. It tends to pill the Angora, and if that's fine if that's the look you're going for, but that's not the look I want today. And so we're going to do a little bit of playing, a little bit of experimenting, and I am going to make some small roll eggs on my carder, and I'm going to mix some colors in. I have some white here at my feet, so I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I have, and actually this is going to be another video, I have some satin Angora from my satin Angora Raven. She is new to me this spring earlier, and I have never owned a satin Angora, and so I'm actually going to do one of my videos that I have scheduled for this week to film is talking about her fiber. Today will actually be the first day that I spin, and I'm not sure what order these videos are going to go in, but this will be the first day that I spin her satin Angora. I got her at the end of March, and I have talked about in other videos how their baby fur isn't great to spin, so usually up until 12, 14 weeks, you're not going to get a ton of fiber anyways, and then after that is when you will start getting spinnable fiber. So I've only done a couple groomings on her, and I sheared her down this summer. So she needs to be groomed again. I'm going to get her groomed, and we're going to talk a little bit about her fiber, and I'm going to spin it in that video. Today we are going to blend some of her fiber, and she is a black satin, which the light is kind of, this is a little bit darker. There's some dark. She is a black satin Angora, and I'm really happy with her color because she is keeping that dark color. It's not black because they do get diluted. You will see an Angora rabbit, and I realized today I do not have any black French Angoras. I don't have any black English Angoras. I used to in the past. I don't have any right now, so I would love to compare them and show you, and I might pull up some pictures and stuff when I do that video to kind of compare. But if you see a black English Angora or a black French Angora, their faces are very, very dark. They are a black, but their bodies are more of a gray color, and it'll be varying depending on each rabbit. It'll vary in gray colors from light to dark gray. But with her, she has kept more of that deep gray color, which I was pleased with, because I would love to have a deep black Angora. So what we're going to do is we're going to card that, which I think is just beautiful. And we're going to see what we can do with this. So again, this is a small batch fibers. This is not going to be, and I do have more of the orange and the purple, but just for the sake of doing this video here, I'm going to line these fibers up and kind of in order, and see what we can get. This is how I load my combs anytime I do this. I take the fiber and get it placed on there. And my combs are from Paradise Fibers. And I've had these so long, I don't remember what the pins, how many per inch are on here. But I do like these. I did get a second pair in the last few years that had smaller, not smaller, closer together pins that are specifically for Angora. And I don't like those as well. Either that or I just haven't used them enough to like them. I tend to always go for these ones and reach for these when I'm gonna card. So there's some orange. What do I want? Let's do some white next. And again, I'm just placing this down, and then we'll put a little bit of the black, which technically people would look at this and go, that's not black. It's not, but it is. And again, this is a lot darker than any of my black English or French. I guess the, if I understand it right, because again, I am semi-new to satin Angoras, I guess that the dilution in them isn't as strong, I guess you'd say. So they're not as diluted down as the French or English with their colors. That's why they are darker. All right, so I take paddle and I'm going to very gently, now this is probably not going to stay in line as well as it would on a drum carder, but it's doing pretty good. So what I do is usually 2 or 3 passes on these. Once I get majority of the fiber off, my one is empty, this one's full. I'm gonna take them and I might move the colors around on my next row legs. We'll see what this ends up looking like, especially to spin it. So that's what I get. And I think I'm going to add, my white kind of got diluted here, so I think I'm going to put a strip of white in there when I do this next one here. Set that there and see if it stays. And I just have this in, I stick it in between my legs and I am rolling the fiber back down. And actually I said I usually do that 2 to 3 times. I usually do. I just wasn't thinking there, but actually this is really, it's beautiful. It's not really needing to go through a second and third time. So let me, so with the roll leg, I would just, there are a couple of different ways to do this. With it being Angora, it doesn't really stay as tight, but you can just take one end or the other and just spin from that end. You could kind of fold it and spin. You're gonna find an end to spin from. So there's one. Let me do one more. And I'm gonna change the colors up just a little bit and see if we can get a little less dilution in there of that white. So I've got purple, and then I'm gonna put a nice big streak of white right next to it. And let's do, yeah, we'll stick with the orange right there. Now remember this, the dyed purple and orange, all of this is 100% Angora. It has been in the dye pot wet, and I did a reel of how I dry it on Instagram yesterday. So you can see the reel of it just drying. And technically I could probably take this just as it is, and I don't know if I would, but I could almost just spin from it like this if I were to separate it out a little bit. It's really, you can see, and I didn't felt it. I have felted Angora before. It's just really beautiful fiber. There's a little piece of a second. When I talk about seconds, it's where you've sheared them and then you go back over a short piece and pull it out. So those are real easy to find with Angora. Got a couple here. You just pull them out. Try not to get those, but it does happen to the best of us. And then gray. And some of you might do this. Again, I am much more on the creative side. I don't measure. Some of you might say, well, I want to measure each one of my colors to make sure they're completely even across. You can do that. That's perfectly fine. I just don't. Now again, if I were to do this on a drum carder, I would keep my lines a little bit more distinct than what I am by doing it this way. That looks a little bit, that's more of what I want compared to that. So I am going to run this through twice. This is a really good arm workout too. And get that side clear. And then I'm just going to take it, put it between my legs, and roll it out. Angora is a very slick fiber, so when you do when you do other fibers on your hand carders, you're going to find that they kind of grab as you roll it off. Angora is just so slick, it doesn't really do that. So that's what I ended up with there. So let me pause this, and I'm going to turn you down, and we'll do just a little bit of spinning from this and show you what we come up with. Okay guys, I've got you turned around. I had to close the blinds. The sun is so bright. So it kind of took away a little bit of my light, but I think you can see. I am going to work from one end, which is the purple. And this is my Spinolution Monarch with an 8-ounce bobbin, 8-ounce flyer head. And if you have any questions on the Spinolution wheels, please ask me. I do sell them. I realized yesterday, because I had somebody email me, that if you go to my website, the Spinolution page says coming soon. It's because I have not worked on that page, but I am able to get you wheels, and I can do that right now. So I need to go in and change that page just to say contact me. I'm hoping to get some of the information of the wheels up there at some point here. So I'm just taking this from an end. And remember, this one I only ran through, was this twice? I guess this one was twice. It probably could have used a third run through, but it is spinning lovely. And the way I'm spinning this is that I am actually trying to stay within that color. So I'm spinning straight from top to bottom I'm spinning the purple first. I will get a little of the, looks like white was next. I am going to get a little bit of that come through here and there because of how I hand carded that. And I could change the look of this yarn simply by where I'm choosing to grab from. If I were very meticulous and only grabbed the purple right here, which I am trying to kind of do, that white, you can see that white came through right here. But that's the fun of some of this, is just to see what colors you do get. So I'm going to try to finish out this purple here. And then kind of naturally jumps into this white. There is a little bit of purple here in the middle. So I'm going to get kind of a mixed bag. Mixed colors a little bit. And I don't usually spin this close to my bobbin, but to get it on the camera right, I have to sit kind of close. So typically I would be back just a little bit more. And I'm just working, I do not have a death grip on this fiber. I am just kind of letting out of my left hand what I want to go into my right hand, and my right hand is directing it. And I am spinning in a worsted style spinning. I'm actually going to do, I have that's on my list of videos to do, is worsted and woolen spinning. And what does that mean? So this is a worsted. So there's some of my orange coming in. And again, if this were a roll leg with any kind of a wool, sheep, even alpaca, it would hold together better as a roll leg. When you start, Angora doesn't have a lot of grab to it, so it doesn't stay in that roll leg shape real great. I want to see, I'm going to move my pin, move my line there, and it's funny, they say that Angora is one of the most difficult fibers to spin, one of the more difficult fibers to spin, because it is so slick and so soft. But since I started on Angora, not when I took my lesson or anything like that, but shortly after, I got Angoras not too long after, and I learned to drop spindle Angora. And so that's what I just had, that's what I did. And so I really enjoy the process of spinning Angora. It's one of my favorite fibers to spin. And I just think it's so beautiful. And then here's some of the gray and the orange. I just kind of have the bottom of this roll leg in my hand here. I'm going to do a little barber pulling there. Not everybody's a fan of that, but I'll put some in here. This is going to be a fun yarn. And remember the fiber amount on my, I did not weigh it to see how much I had, but I'm guessing these roll legs are maybe probably less than a half an ounce each. There's not a ton of fiber here, and depending on how thick or thin you spin it is how much yarn you're going to end up getting. That's with any fiber that you do, thick or thin. There's another second right there. I'm just going to pull out and put on my leg. So that does make a difference when you're spinning for, if you're spinning for a very specific project and you need so many yards, you're going to want to determine how much or how, you know, thick or thin you want to spin it. What is the pattern call for, and then you're going to want to spin that accordingly. Especially if you've purchased fiber to make a very specific project, and you want to make sure you only have so much fiber. You want to make sure it lasts. Oh, there's my purple. I was going to say there wasn't much purple in here. It's down in my lap. So there's the end of the row leg. A little bit of white and purple. And just a touch of orange right there. I will add on to this. So I'm just going to take this and wrap it around there. It's hard to do with one hand. So ignore all this other fiber here. This is what I ended up with right here. Oops, there we go. So let me pause this and turn you around and we'll finish out. Okay guys, that was spinning our fiber. And hopefully, let me pull this bobbin off here real quick and just kind of show you what I did end up getting. I showed it on when I finished, but I don't know how well that came through. So, none of this, but this is what it's looking like. And I'm going to actually finish this out, and I will either, typically a lot of times I'll post in Instagram, but I will show you what this ended up looking like when I get done with it. This might be where I am sitting for this evening and working on some yarn, because again, I haven't spun in so long. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below as always. And yeah, I hope you guys had a fantastic day, and I hope you're creating something. Bye.